It's been a while since I've had a PlayStation console. I had the PlayStation 1 and I loved it. Gran Turismo 2, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Armored Core. The games on that system were amazing. I had a PSP too. It's how I got my fix of Tekken 6 on the go. But I also had Luminous and DJ Max. But with all that's happening recently, the censorship of Stellar Blade, the removal of movies due to expired licenses, just to name a few, and now they're announcing they'll be ending disc production in 2028. I mean, damn, it's an end of an era. I guess. What kind of era is ending though? Physical media for video games? Really? They can just do that? Even though people are not happy with this announcement, the reaction's been nuclear. Now, I first wondered why in the world they're doing this, and I see two reasons. Obviously, the first is cost cutting. It just takes a lot more resources to go physical. Manufacture discs, print the packaging, ship them to retailers, give them their share of sales, while digital is mostly just server bandwidth. Most games can connect to the internet anyways to allow patches, which is good, but also because of shitty online-only DRM like Denuvo, which is bad. What I don't get is why this move, the one that players clearly hate. Why not instead cut down the ballooning budgets of making video games? Lest you forget, the whole thing with Concord was just 2 years ago. This game as a service product cost them anywhere from 50 to 400 million to ship, and it lasted for just 2 weeks because it was just so damn awful. The high development cost also probably has to do with how long games are taking to complete nowadays. Like, I remember when I was a teenager, I was big on Mega Man games. There were so many of them coming out of Capcom's ass, it was hard to keep up. To summarize, during the 2000s, they had 3 spin-off series running alongside each other, and each of them had a new game almost every year. Mega Man X got 5 more games and 1 remake. Battle Network had 6 main games. Then Star Force had 3 after that. But also there's the Mega Man Zero games, which had 6. You don't see that kind of release cycle anymore. Or actually, we do, and it's for sports games that barely change anything. Yeah, most of these games had reused assets in between sequels, but I think that's a skill that's actually been forgotten. Or at least it's forgotten by Western studios. I cannot think off the top of my head a Western game that does this, but there's one Eastern dev that does it very effectively nowadays. From Software. They've been reusing animations and assets from even Demon's Souls, and I do not doubt that they'll be doing the same thing in Armored Core 6. I cannot wait for the next game in that title, man. I also miss when devs would make small spin-off games that are cute and fun. Like this PS1 game, Super Gem Fighter. It has chibi-style characters from Capcom's other series. They all cross over here to fight each other. They even dress up, cosplay, and do silly moves. I think this game is way too charming for its own good. Anybody else get this? It seems that when studios get too big, they step away from these kind of games. But back on topic, I figure the second reason Sony's doing this is the one we'd actually hate. The aspect of control. If all their games are digital only, then they control the price. You can get them from anywhere else but their storefront. And of course, no more buying games secondhand for cheaper. I mentioned the censorship Sony forced onto Stellar Blade, and however benign and silly it was a sign. The outfits being patched were intended though, as said by the devs, and yet people still blame Sony. I'm not one of those people, but the fact that people even thought that is a sign of how little the public trusts them. And I don't blame them. Look at this list. This is the 550 movies being yoinked from people's libraries recently. I recognize some bangers here. Hot Fuzz, I Saw the Devil, Hell or High Water, even Terminator 2 is in this list. And this was their statement. From September 1st, 2026, due to our content licensing agreements, you will no longer be able to access your previously purchased content from Studio Canal, and it will be removed from your video library. Gee, it sounds oddly familiar. As of 31 December 2023, due to our content licensing agreements with content providers, you will... Oh, okay. There it is. It's not the first time. They already did this with Discovery content. And when PlayStation goes full digital, how long will it take before we see this statement again? How about we just leave these segments blank and reuse them, actually? These are dire times. I do wonder what the PlayStation 6 is going to look like. It's not gonna have a disk drive, is it? Oh yeah, you may be thinking they'll still include it because of backwards compatibility. Well, because of budget-cutting reasons, ending physical discs is just the way to go. As optimistic as I want to be, I don't think it'll happen. It just doesn't make sense, but they also don't get it. A diskless console seems to miss the whole point. Consoles are supposed to be the convenient option, at the cost of buying an electronically powered box that does nothing but play video games. What you get is the ability to just plug in a game and have a grand old time. You don't have to look for parts, install software, navigate folders, change settings, risk compatibility and performance issues. No need to log into accounts either. Or it used to be like that anyway. You turn on the console, your game boots up, and you're on your way. Now PC is good for different reasons, but more so because it empowers its users with tons of options. Piracy and emulation allows for otherwise abandoned games to be preserved, like the game I'm showing you here. This is Future Cop LAPD, another PS1 game. It is a blast to play. But good luck trying to get it to work on modern operating systems. Beyond the illicit means though, you also have Steam. That's an all-digital platform, but it's beloved. It's cause they don't screw us over with their DRM, most of the time anyway. It's also convenient that they have an integrated modding function. And then there's platforms like GOG, which offers maximum freedom over your digital purchases. You pay once and what you get is an offline installer. Offline meaning it doesn't have to connect to the internet at all, and you can use it however many times you wish, no strings attached. It is honestly an anomaly in this day and age, and I think that's the main issue. For Steam and GOG purchases, it feels like you own your game and nothing can take it from you. It's the preservation of ownership that's the issue. If my cart of Monster Hunter Rise breaks because I sat on it or tossed it like a frisbee, that's my fault, and I can just learn to take better care of my stuff. But when your downloaded copy of it becomes unplayable because their license has ended, there's nothing you can do. We can't trust PlayStation's DRM. That's the problem. Amidst this chaos, however, it is refreshing to see the response. And it's not just from gamers, clearly not in support of this, but also from other businesses. Seems everything's going digital now. Pizzas, chairs, controllers. How would that work? It's the latest meme to roast a company's poor decisions. It's great. Now that I think about it, we already have a good example of a digital-only game being shared around, albeit in a roundabout way. I'm talking about PT. This playable teaser of what would have been a Silent Hill game is a digital download for the PS4. It was up for 8 months in 2014, then it got cancelled and it's no longer available. Yet you can still play it, as long as A, you never uninstall it from the PS4, and B, you don't remove the PSN account that downloaded the game. And so there's an aftermarket specifically for this, PS4s with PT. It's a roundabout way of sharing a game compared to, well, in Sony's own words,
this is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
And I am aware that people already exchange consoles with linked accounts that have video games, nothing new there. But come on, everyone has different tastes. They rarely perfectly overlap, if ever. If you buy a console with tons of pre-installed digital games, you'll likely be interested in only maybe 10% of those. And in the end, who knows? Will it really be worth it making this change? Will the money this cost-cutting move be enough? They still be able to sell enough product? Because what I know is right now they're losing one other very important currency. You can't measure this currency because it's difficult to earn, and if you do earn it and then lose it, it's even difficult to get back. And that's the currency of goodwill. Steam has a good rep because it has accumulated the goodwill of gamers over the many years it's been operating. Some stumbles here and there, sure, but most of their decisions do favor gamers. Just one example, nowadays you can buy a game, play it for less than 2 hours, and if you don't like it, you can get a full refund. Wasn't always like that. Contrast Ubisoft, a company that's completely bankrupt of goodwill. Feels like all they care about is money. Well, yeah, technically all companies do just care about money, but I said feel. What does it feel to us? Because good business should be the goal, not just profit. If it feels like a business cares about us, they don't hate us, and actually does what we expect them to, actually wants to make us happy, then sure, I'll give you money. That's how I earn trust. I don't own a PS4, I just borrow, but I have played some PS4 games on physical discs, namely Bloodborne, Armored Core 6, and Persona 5 Royal. This was back when it had yet to be ported to PC. A neighbor let me play their copy of Bloodborne with zero issues, and I still have my copy of AC6, so I wasn't completely closed off from PlayStation games. But if they actually go through with this, I'm completely done. It won't even be hate they're getting from me. Hate means they're still in the back of your mind. Nah, the next step is apathy. As in not caring at all. Not viewing their trailers, any of their announcements. They won't matter to me. That's that. And growing apathy towards a product is when it starts to truly die off. The only way I'll ever consider them again is if they do something drastic, like, I don't know, enable modding, or change some clauses in their TOS, like the one where if your account is inactive for 3 years, they'll delete it and all your purchases along with it. They can't even reserve the rights of their paying customers in the past, what more of their current ones. Steam never closes inactive accounts. Hell, even Ubisoft will only close accounts with no purchased games. Or how about this, PlayStation? Make your digital games cheaper. Because yo, check this out. The physical version of The Last of Us for PS5 is being sold at half the price of the digital. Whatever. I'm done. Nothing makes sense. It's all over. That's it for me for today. Thanks for watching, and thank you to my members. I'll see y'all next time.